Hello and welcome to another episode of the Ball Ridden Podcast for what is the fourth edition of the 2026 College Football Player Profile Preview, where we will be previewing, highlighting, profiling 4 players each week. One from each side of the ball, one offensive guy, one defensive guy. Going to do that for, I think it was 12 weeks. So this is week 4, and we have gone to the bullpen.
Relief
for our second chair this episode. Dad, welcome in Josh. Week off for Josh.
Step aside, Josh. I'm going to fill some big shoes here. So we got the Triple P on the BRP, brought to you by Frank and me. So here I go filling in. I'm going to do my best.
So yeah, 4th week of this, we've done, let's test my memory. Offensive line, defensive line was week 2.
Trenches.
Week 1 was defensive line and...
DBs.
No.
Didn't you do DBs?
Last week was DB and wide receiver. Week 1 was... Gosh, this is 3 weeks was forever ago. Week 1 was defensive line and running backs.
There we go.
This week we have tight ends and linebackers, which is fitting for you being a linebackers guy, right?
Yes, sir. That's why I got my Columbus St. Francis the sales gear on, linebacker U in high school football here in Columbus, Ohio, Central Ohio. So yeah, I'm excited about these topics today, at least that one. So let's get rolling.
Well, I guess, how many years did you coach linebackers for, I guess?
28 years total.
Jeez.
Yeah, so.
Know that position inside and out and coached a lot of guys that have gone on and played at the college level. But yeah, let's get started. Tight ends and linebackers. We'll start with tight ends, though, offensive side of the ball, as we have been doing. You go first, me go first.
I can start off first here.
Go ahead.
Okay, this is the guy from LSU, the tight end. Trey'Dez Green is the one I'm excited about. Okay, so he is a tight end at LSU, and after the season last year, he jumped onto the basketball team. Wanted to use his size and his height because, right now this tight end position it's slash like hybrid to me, like H-back type of deal. They're looking for big guys that are tall. They're going to throw some tall, high passes to them. They're going to outreach people and be able to catch more passes. Yet they're still hardcore blockers too, creating an edge and caving down that edge or kick out blocking. So that's a very dynamic position for me, which leads me to believe why like Trey'Dez would do something like that and go to the basketball team. And your brother Anthony did that at Valparaiso. Also, we've talked about that.
Not exactly the same build as a lot of these tight ends, though.
Right? No, not at all. No.
That's the one thing I had like looking at a lot of these guys is, not a new appreciation, but kind of reminding myself how impressive the tight end position is. These guys are massive, and the way they move when they're receivers is crazy, and then being able to also be somewhat of an offensive lineman because they got to block too. Just reminding myself how big these guys are and the way they move on the field is impressive.
And I talked about evolution in the past. That position has evolved because when it started as the H-back, it was the fullback.
Yeah.
So it was a shorter guy that was tough and stocky like that. But now, like you said, the height has become an important part of that. So he takes that height over and wants to do something with the basketball program. But he did show up in 6 games last year, seeing limited minutes. But he brought a lot of energy to the team and physicality to their defense, grabbing a lot of rebounds. So I'm on Trey'Dez here for this year. I like him.
On the football field, though, pretty impressive too. 7 touchdowns last season, over 400 yards, 33 catches. That was on an LSU team that struggled a lot. I'm sure he loves, and he stayed at LSU. A lot of their roster is new with Kiffin coming in, but I'm sure Kiffin is ecstatic that he's a guy that stayed, having a 6'7" target to play with in his offense that can move the way he does at the tight end position.
Yeah, he sounds committed to LSU, which a lot of kids aren't nowadays, but I think he brings a lot of good energy, and I'm excited to see what Kiffin does with him down there. And you said he was at OSU before that?
No. He's been at LSU.
Oh, gotcha. So that's good that he returned.
Yeah, well, I'm sure. I think he's supposed to be one of the top expected to be one of the top tight ends next season. So I don't know how much of it was I'm sure Kiffin had to do some work too to get him to stay. But he is a Louisiana kid, and everyone says they dream of playing for LSU. But yeah,
Right.
second team All SEC last season. So yeah,
Yeah.
he's a big returner for them on offense. He'll have Sam Levitt throwing him the ball next year. Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah, I don't think, even though Kiffin's got that name, and without a slight connection there, talking to anybody, I don't think people are going to stay just to stay.
All right, anything else on Trey'Dez?
No, but I like to look out for him.
All right, my tight end, I'm going with Peter Clarke, senior tight end out of Temple, or should I say Peter Clarke. He's a bloke from London, England.
No way.
Yes. Peter is from London, England.
Does he have the hardcore accent like such?
Yes.
Nice.
Yes. That's why I was going to maybe do this whole thing in a British accent, but I don't think that's possible.
All right.
So, yeah, great season last year. Had 30 catches, 483 yards, 6 touchdowns. A big body.
Large.
Yes, large up top. Really, he was pretty big in high school too, if you want to call it high school, whatever they call it over there in England. But really filled out once he got to Temple too. I mean, upper body wise, he almost looks more like an O lineman. I think in the face he looks like Paul Skeens a little bit too, but that doesn't matter. But yeah, from England, played in the it's called NFL Academy there. So NFL has done a lot of work to try to, make the game global.
They have, yeah.
So that's like their high school program over there, I guess. First 2 seasons, though, he didn't have an actual season because of COVID. They didn't do anything over there.
Wow.
So most of his recruiting, I guess you could say, came off of the back 2 years. But I did read that he actually ended up getting his first offer his freshman year solely based off of practice in scrimmage film, which is pretty impressive. Yeah. But that speaks to, looking at tight end position, looking a lot about size.
Globally, I think a lot of these people are looking to get into the American colleges, and looking to get the education and the degree, and there's a lot more opportunity. So I think that's also attractive to them, rightfully so.
Yeah. So he came over to the U.S., ended up at Temple, and actually played a little bit as a true freshman, I say that's pretty damn impressive coming straight from overseas and playing your first year. A lot of work on special teams. He did, though, as a freshman on his first career catch. It was a touchdown.
Oh, nice.
That's got to be a pretty big moment for him.
When you're bringing somebody globally like that from a different country, and then they have the size like we're talking about, they just have that difference. They're just different, something about them. And it's interesting. It adds to the game. I think it just brings along this evolution that we keep talking about.
Yeah. Sophomore year then, after his freshman season, he missed the beginning of the year due to an injury. I don't know much else about his sophomore season. Junior year, though, which was last year, broke out. I read the stats. Set the Temple record for most touchdown receptions by a tight end. He was third highest on the team in receiving yards. I found it interesting, though. They had 4 guys that were all within 400 to 500 yards. So he was at 483, but the highest was at 500. So he wasn't far behind as their leading target.
Yeah.
Like I said, big body. A lot of the highlights I saw of him going down the seam, they love to get him down the seam. He's not afraid to go up and catch a ball and take a hit because a lot of times the hits he's taken are against dudes that are way smaller than him, and they're just bouncing off of him.
Yeah, strategically, that seam area you're talking about is kind of between the safety corner type of deal, between the 2 safeties type of deal, between a linebacker safety type of deal. It's a window that you're trying to find, and I think maybe that's why the height and the size of this person makes it such a great additive to that position, because then they can throw that ball up high and put it in a spot that's impossible for the defender to get to.
Yeah, and he had a great game this past season against UTSA, had 4 receptions. Of those catches, he had a touchdown that took the lead for them, a third down conversion that basically ended the game, and then a crazy 36-yard catch where he dragged a DB about 20 yards. If you watch that play, it's you see his strength, his size, and
at that position,
as tight end.
Most of the pass plays, like he's going to catch the ball like at greater than 10 yards. So he's catching it at like 15, 20 yards, which means he's pulling off a big chunk there. But then you keep remembering the size that we're talking about, so then he can just drag some people.
And the
with
size
him.
of the guys that are around him in that area,
a lot smaller and shorter,
a lot different.
Interesting.
Yeah, so he decided he was a big he's a big name this season at the tight end position. He probably could have transferred elsewhere to a much bigger program than Temple. They've struggled. They had a solid year last year, but before that, they were awful. His first 2 seasons, they were awful. He went through a coaching change. He seems like a kid from everything I've read that really loves Temple. So him going back there in this portal area is, hat tip to him for doing that, sticking with Temple, a school, not only a program, but a school, a city he seems to love. He said he wanted to go to a city school, being a city kid from London, England. So I thought that was really cool. But my favorite thing about him, he loves the block. He's a good run blocker with how big he is. I mean,
old school.
Yeah, he loves to block. He's not afraid to block. He's good at blocking. And this is one quote he said: "The feeling of scoring is always great, but the feeling when you physically move someone into the ground against their will, that's unmatched."
Sounds like he's got that fever, man.
Yeah.
He's got the taste of it.
I thought that was awesome. And
with both of these guys we're talking about, Trey'Dez and your guy, anybody that has a commitment to that city or that town or that university, nowadays I think that's
it's rare.
A big thing to use when you're recruiting a guy or trying to get him to stay.
Yeah. Very rare. So
right.
I respected that a lot about him, how highly he spoke of Temple and everything he's been through there to, have this sort of breakout season and then stay loyal to Temple, who could, I think they could turn some heads this upcoming season. They had a solid year last year in the first season under new head coach Casey Keeler, who could build something special there. But I'll finish off my one little fun fact, I guess you could say. As I said, being from London, England, American football is not the biggest there. He didn't start playing American football until 12 years old, which was through flag football at a program that they had at his school. So you could say still relatively very new to the game.
And I juggle that with these global people compared to the Americans who, like, we start training at fourth grade, hard.
Yeah.
So I wonder if we're burned out with it. Maybe they're fresh, and not as boring or not as much work, it seems like to them. But then the other thing I juggle in the back of my mind is the health thing, like keeping healthy and staying healthy. Does that provide for a more chance of getting injured or less chance of getting injured? But you know what?
It could be either way.
Everybody's body's different, and everybody's body's a temple. So however they take care of that temple, I think is managing it. But sometimes you wonder if those guys that started off a little bit later, they have just a little bit of a different type of hunger.
Yeah, that's a good point. All right, that is Peter Clarke, Temple tight end. Now let's head over to the defensive side of the ball, the linebacker position.
So we're looking at Rasheem Biles transferring from Pitt. Man, Pitt had some good things going on here the last couple years. I'm sorry to see guys bouncing around, but they got a good program there. Rasheem's coming here to Texas and helping the Longhorns out, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what he has to do.
Yeah, Rasheem Biles, he was very good last year for Pitt. One of the top linebackers that entered the portal. A big loss for Pitt, but that's kind of where the Pitt program is right now. They're not going to keep guys like that.
Yeah.
But I think the most surprising thing was when he entered the portal. He's a Columbus kid. I think a lot of people, myself included, thought it was a done deal that he was going to go to Ohio State. Texas ends up getting him, which is big for their defense.
Where'd he go to high school?
Pick Central.
Nice.
I think he was more of like a safety too there.
Interesting.
So they converted him to linebacker. He's a big time playmaker. He's had a lot of, turnovers, interceptions, fumble recoveries, on top of being, a downhill linebacker that can play the run, but a bit of an athletic freak too.
Yes, very much. I'm interested in seeing what he has to do this year, moving like that, moving up. Obviously, he's looking to the NFL career, so he's looking to up his stock. So this ought to be interesting.
Yeah, he'll be on a much bigger stage at Texas, but can't really blame him, I guess, for leaving Pitt, considering basically Pitt's entire defensive staff left. And then, I'm sure Texas, the bag of money they threw at him also helped. Anything else on Rasheem? I think he's he does the land shark celebration, if you know what that is.
Oh, no.
A lot of the Pitt defensive guys did that, but I know
Gotcha.
he would do it all the time. So they call themselves the Shark.
Gotcha. Okay. I'm interested in watching him do that then.
I understand that you have what is it?
Linebacker tip of the day, brought to you by the Triple P on the BRP. Yes, and there's our linebacker sound effect for
I don't
the
know
day.
if that's exactly what it sounds
Our
like.
linebacker tip of the day is efficient footwork is key. Linebackers make every step count. You know how you get the best footwork? You got good eyes. What you see tells your feet where to go. So if you got good eyes, you're going to have great footwork. That's your linebacker tip of the day.
Rasheem have some good feet.
You got to have good feet. If you're getting talked about on the BRP for next year, you got to have great footwork. But like I said, the eyes are the most important. They're going to tell your feet where to go.
All right. Anything else on Rasheem then?
No,
Or
sir.
any other linebacker?
You know I got one more linebacker out of Columbus St. Francis de Sales.
That's where I thought you were going to go.
Now here we go. Cincinnati Bearcats. Jonathan Thompson, number 22. This is his final year at Cincinnati. JT, a nickname Bill, B-I-L. Ball is life. John's my boy. You know I got to talk about John because we've been together for a long time, ever since he was a young guy, and we spent so many mornings together learning every linebacker position on the field at DeSales so that we could put him in and plug him in at any of the three positions that we would need him at. He was so smart, so athletic, but even just a great person, man, and a great family. So I'm looking forward to John having a great this year, final year for Cincinnati. A redshirt senior linebacker again, number 22. So let's give it up one time for JT, Bill.
Good one. All right, I'll go with mine then. I got Cole Sullivan, linebacker from Oklahoma, formerly of the Michigan Wolverines. Hated to see this guy go. Was one of my favorite Michigan players last season. You just look at this guy. He looks like a linebacker. He's got the big neck.
Yeah.
He's got the big arm brace on.
That helps out.
6'4", 230. He's got. I was surprised to see that his size. He looks.
That's
I'll
tall,
say
isn't it?
yes. That's what they say. He's very tall. He can see everything. I thought he looked a lot smaller than what he was listed at when you see him on TV. But
that might be helpful though.
Yeah, no, that's what they say. His size and
Yeah.
length is a big part of his game and what he can do. It helps him a lot.
Yeah, gotcha.
So played at Michigan last year. Really came along well for them. Was voted most improved player on the defense. He had to step up. He didn't start till like the last 3 games of the season, but was a major contributor every game. He really had to step up because if you remember earlier in the year, they had one of their interior linebackers, Jayshawn Barham, got suspended for a targeting hit. They ended up basically moving him to an edge rusher, and then Sullivan got a lot more meaningful snaps inside. They also had a little fiasco with another inside linebacker, Ernest Hausman, after he had an injury and ended up missing a bunch of time. So Sullivan stepped up big time for them. Finished the year with 44 tackles, 2 sacks, 3 interceptions, and a forced fumble. Made a lot of, just had a knack for being around the ball and making big time plays. And
that's that it factor.
Yeah, he had that it factor.
Well, how many games? 3?
He started the last 3, but he was solidly in the rotation
every other game,
most of the season.
Okay.
So he was in there a lot.
Okay, all right.
A guy kind of began his early career last year, was a sophomore season. Was a contributor a lot on special teams as a true freshman though, and continued to play special teams last year too. And I don't know, I like a guy that comes up through that route. I think
mature.
Yes.
Yeah, mature.
They know what it's like to be on the field. You got to be willing, I think, to play special teams too. I mean, it's not easy.
Yeah, that's our lifestyle.
Yes. So a guy that came up that way, I think, is respectful. But transferred to Oklahoma, which, as I said, I hated to see him leave Michigan. You can't really blame anyone for leaving Michigan, though, after everything came out about this offseason. But Oklahoma, I think, will be really good for him.
Oklahoma's a great place for linebackers.
Venables. He's called the linebacker doctor. So Venable, he's excited to work with Venables. That's a big reason why he ended up going there. Good. I think he could be a stud for them on
smart
defense. He's a guy. Sullivan's a guy that has just got better and better each season. It's only been 2 years, I guess, but the way he was too, just thinking the beginning of last year to the end of last year, to where probably didn't even think he would be a main guy for them on defense, to be a key player for them at the end of the season. So he's just a guy that keeps getting better and better, and I think he will continue to get better at Oklahoma, and like we said with Venables, could really take him over the hump and turn him into an elite college football linebacker. From Pittsburgh too, went to Central Catholic.
Oh, he's a native of Pittsburgh? Okay.
Yeah, went to Central
He's
Catholic.
got a little bit of grit there, man. That Pittsburgh football, the WPIA or whatever.
I think his
it's
dad
called.
played in college, maybe a little pro ball too, but his dad was a big time football player as well.
Gotcha. Interesting. Sounds like he's got some consistency.
That is Cole Sullivan, Oklahoma linebacker, number 18.
Boomer Sooner.
Mm-hmm.
Brian Asamoah.
Mm-hmm. All right. Oh, you got one more linebacker thing?
Yeah, hit us with a sound effect. Where is that?
I don't know if I still have it.
I think it's gritty, man. I think it's cut. Yeah, the triple P, BRP linebacker tip of the day. Any linebacker can make a big play once in a while. Elite linebackers make them consistently because consistency is a bitch.
Yep. All right, that'll wrap up this week's edition of the 2026 College Football Player Profile Preview with tight ends and linebackers. We had Trey'Dez Green, tight end out of LSU, Peter Clarke, tight end out of Temple via London, England, linebacker Rasheem Biles out of Texas, and linebacker Cole Sullivan from Oklahoma. Next week, Josh should be back for the 5th week, where we will be doing not players, but offensive and defensive coordinators.
Ooh,
that's the plan.
Nice. That's going to be awesome.
That's the plan.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining.
Thanks for putting up with me.
Anything else before we get out of here?
No way. Can't wait to see what happens. Happy 4th of July. Have a safe 4th. Don't lose no digits.
Fingers?
Fingers, yeah.
Jason Pierre-Paul.
Ooh.
He was the guy that blew off his hand. Now, it was last year, I think, 4th of July. Najee Harris.
Yeah.
With his eyeball.
Oh, man. Yeah, those have become way more popular nowadays. Why would you want to hold on to them? Let go. Run away.
I don't know. All right.
Boom.
That'll wrap up this episode. Thanks for listening. Have a good weekend. Peace.